Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle a topic that, let's be honest, is tough for a lot of us. It's based on the wisdom of Kazuko Watanabe, and it's all about self-forgiveness. How we can finally learn to accept our own weaknesses and mistakes.
So let's just dive right in with a question that probably hits pretty close to home for a lot of us. Think about it. Why is it so much easier to show compassion to a friend who messes up, but when it comes to ourselves, we're just our own worst critic? And Watanabe has this incredible way of putting it. She says the hardest person to forgive is that fellow lodger inside you, the one you're stuck with 24/7. You can't get away from them. They know every thought, every mistake, every secret. There's just no escape from their judgment.
Okay, so where does all this struggle actually come from? Why are we so incredibly hard on ourselves? Well, according to Watanabe, the whole problem often starts with a really fundamental misunderstanding of what it even means to be human.
This is it, right here. Watanabe's insight is so simple but so powerful. She says the problem isn't that we have flaws, it's that we expect ourselves not to. We're not just trying to be good people, we're holding ourselves to this impossible standard of being a perfect, flawless saint. And that just sets us up for failure over and over again.
And this chart just lays it all out so clearly, doesn't it? Over here on the left, you have this idea of a saint. Perfect, sinless, always composed. But on the right, you've got the reality of being a human. We're imperfect, we absolutely make mistakes, and you know what? We have bad days. The secret to self-forgiveness is just accepting that we live on the right side of this chart.
Okay, so we're not saints. We're human. Got it. But what do we do with that information? How do we actually handle our past mistakes or the parts of ourselves that we just can't seem to change? Let's look at a really practical tool for this. This is where Watanabe points us to something you've probably heard of before, the Serenity Prayer. It's not just a nice saying, it's a powerful mental model, a framework for finding some peace in the middle of all that regret and anxiety. And it's broken down into these three beautiful, simple ideas. First, serenity. That's about accepting the things you can't change. Your past mistakes, they're done. They're history. You can't edit them. Then, courage. That's for the things you can change. Your choices right now, your attitude, where you go from here. And finally, the most important one, wisdom. The wisdom to know the difference, so you stop wasting energy fighting battles that are already over. So, why is this wisdom so important? Why bother trying to figure out what you can and can't change? Well, because it unlocks the whole point of this, freedom. Forgiveness, whether it's for someone else or for yourself, isn't weakness. It's an act of liberation. Think about it this way. Watanabe says that when you refuse to forgive, you're basically chained to that moment in the past. You're emotionally tied to that person or that mistake, and you're just forced to live it again and again. You're a prisoner. But the second you choose to forgive, snap. You break that chain. You decide that the past doesn't get to control your present anymore. You're liberating not just the other person, but more importantly, you're liberating yourself. You're free to finally move on. And let's be super clear here. This doesn't mean you're saying what happened was okay or that a mistake didn't matter. Not at all. It's about taking back your power. It's about making a conscious choice that you are no longer going to be controlled by something that's already happened. And this idea of freedom, of taking back your power, it brings us to the final and maybe most important piece of the puzzle from Watanabe's work. This isn't a one-and-done thing. You don't just achieve self-acceptance and then you're finished. It's a practice. It's something you do, not something you achieve. Every single time you mess up, every time you stumble, it's not a failure. It's a chance. It's an opportunity to practice being a little gentler, a little kinder to yourself, to treat yourself with the same warmth you'd give to a good friend. All right, so let's quickly pull it all together. First, remember you're human, not a saint. You're supposed to be imperfect. Second, use that framework of the Serenity Prayer to figure out what to accept and what to act on. Third, see forgiveness for what it truly is, an act of setting yourself free. And finally, make it a daily practice to just be a little bit gentler with yourself. So I'll leave you with this final question to think about. This isn't about some huge, dramatic act of self-forgiveness. It's about the little things, day in and day out. It's about those small, kind words. So what's just one kind thing you can say to that fellow lodger inside you today?